1, 2, 1, 2. Okay, 3, 2. So basically, the wonderful thing about having a packed out place is that you've got loads of people that can feel your energy. Oh yeah. What about you? Alright, yeah, so what I'll say, the wonderful thing about having a packed out venue or anything like that is that you have the most amount of people that you can reach. But the wonderful thing about having fewer people is that you get all of our energy. So, Winsome Dumpkin is here. She came with this bright energy. We're like, oh, what? Everyone's gone. Where is everybody? She doesn't no matter. It's 1 or 1,000. It's the same. So, with that said, we 4 of us, 5, 6, 7 of us is in this building, like or this room right now. The energy that Winsome gives, can we give it back? Yes. Yeah. I don't think we're ready for that. Can we? Yeah. All right. Good. That's all that is needed. Energy reciprocated, energy given, or energy back, and this is how we keep it flowing and going and growing. So with that said, we're going to tell your story and write your book and learn how from the guru herself. Can we give her a strong African hand?
If it's 1,000, I'm in a business. I'm going to come in and I'm going to bring you the love and I'm going to help, inspire and share with the community on how they can start writing their books. And not only just start writing their books, also telling their stories. So, which is the best side for me to stand on? This side or this side? Because I like to go good. Yeah? You can see the screen. Yeah. Right, okay. So, here's what we're going to do. When I say tell your story, you're going to say write your book. Greetings, sis. I was trying to wave at you earlier. Lovely to see you. Okay, alright, so here we go. Tell your story.
Write your book.
Tell your story.
Write your book.
So tell your story.
Write your book.
So tell your story.
Write your book.
Tell your story.
Write your book.
Excellent. Give yourselves a hand clap. So today's topic is telling your story, write your book, and finding your narrative. So today we're celebrating a launch of Makonnen Sankofa. I've got to get words out of my mouth. He's there on the table at the back, and do go and check him. He's got a book called The Rise of Rastafari. Now, I've never met an author that is just so dedicated and committed to the process of telling his story and writing his book. And he's been really dedicated, perfectionist, and he just wants to get it right, wants to get it right. And I hope, Raskinde, I hope you told him that you can you can do some proofreading as well. So I hope you drop that service in for him, because I'm sure he'd be interested. Right, so he's out there. Let's make sure, we go and support him. And I'm so proud of what we have created together. You see, the thing about it is there's not enough male voices. Would you agree? In literature? And let's get more specific. There's not enough male voices of colour telling their stories. And you see, the reason why the suicide rate is high amongst our brothers is because if we look at it in terms of the 40 and under, there's no way for them to express themselves and get out their pain, because we all feel pain. But we're in a society where it says that you must be macho and, you put up your chest and you have this bravado. But I think the most beautiful thing is when a brother can cry and express his emotion, right? Okay, so that's really what I'm about in terms of helping our community as a whole to tell their story.
Write your book.
Good, this is a very good audience. So at the end you are going to have an opportunity to ask me some questions, and this is the time to grab me, because it's not often that I get to come to the community grassroots and just basically do for free. So just use this time to get as much information as you can out of me and begin your journey. So let's just see a show of hands if you've ever thought of writing a book. Okay, good. Let's see a show of hands, and I think I'm missing that face. Right, okay, so let's see a show of hands if you can put 2 hands up there. If you started writing your book. Oh, wonderful. Can we give them a round of applause? Excellent. You see, the thing about it is that starting to write a book is like a labour of love. It's like giving birth to a little baby. It takes time. First of all, you have to have the thought. Once you have the thought, you've got to have the vision of writing it down and bringing it into fruition. Yeah? Okay. So in today's slides, this is what we're going to talk about. And I'll just give you an introduction and then we'll begin. So my name is Winsome Duncan. I am a book confidence coach. And my role really is to assist on group levels like this and one-to-ones. And how I do that is I kind of tease out what is your story and how we can structure it. It's really about getting the structure right. That's really what we need to do in order to get it out. It's about commitment, it's about dedication, and it's about focus. Okay? Those are the 3 main components that you're going to need in order to discipline yourself to wake up an hour early or stay up an hour late when everyone's sleeping and to just write it. Now, if you can just wave the Just Write It workbook up in the air. No, it's in your hands. So we've got a workbook here. It's called Just Write It Story to the Page. So this is the workbook that I use in my sessions, and I'll be going through that a little bit later on today. And I do have a few copies if anybody is interested a bit later on, but this is what we're using within the community to help you structure your plans and get your book out. So should we start?
Yeah.
All right, so tell your story.
Write your book.
Next slide, please. Great stuff. Good. So, I want to ask you, what's happening there? Has it gone back? What legacy do you want? What impact do you want to make on the world? You see, we've only got an appointed time. At some point, we're not going to be here. We're going to transcend, and we're going to go and meet our Maker. So while we're here, while we're breathing, while we're alive, while we're healthy, while we are present, what impact do you want to make on the world? What do you want to say? What kind of stories do you have? What have you learned? Now, some of the stories that we've encountered are things to do with deep, deep issues, and some of them are light-hearted. So it could be poetry. You know, people come and they do a poetry book, as you know, the poets say. Yeah, big up. And you know, the couple's book is the new things. Come on, come on. Make that money, make that money. I'll give you that one for free. So, you know, poetry is really good. Words are obviously really powerful. So think about the impact that you want to make. Some of the books that we've published have been Jamaican fiction stories as well. We've also done financial stories, Manage Your Money on Nil every year. Barbara Anderson is one of our most popular authors. And we've done some sad stories. We've had women who unfortunately lost their children due to certain types of illnesses. So one was schizophrenia, and sadly, you know, she took her life, and it was how she could bounce back after that and have her faith restored back in God. So that was the narrative of the story, not to give up, and that though life knocks you down, you can still get up and you can still recover and you can still move forward. So another story that we had was a lady who had a daughter that was, she was 18 months old, and unfortunately her daughter passed at 18 months from leukemia. And again, this was another heart-wrenching story, but this particular lady, she was a Christian and she believed in the gospel of Jesus Christ, and that's what restored her faith. So she wrote a story about that. And lots of people go through traumas in life. It's just the nature of what it is. You know, you see Makonnen Sankofa out there, he's a Rasta, and he's written down his experience of what it is like to be a Rasta. Yeah? Alright, so if we can quickly go to the next slide, I'll go get my water. Come on, young man, come in. Okay, next slide, please. And big up up and blessings to Auntie Jean for inviting me down. Thank you very much. Okay. All right. So now we're going to talk about the 7 excuses as to why your book is not written. So, one of the things that we discussed was online we did a little survey. And the number one reason is there is not enough time. Was that fair? Did you say? Is there enough time? Do you have enough time to write your book, Ross? How many have you written now? 3, 4? Yeah? So do you have enough time or not?
No.
Tell us how you make time, brother.
Well, you just have, you determine that it's something that you have to do, you know, and then when you determine that you have to do it, you're going to find the time.
Okay, and how many books have you written?
4 now.
4. That's actually amazing.
Yeah.
Well done. Can we give them a round of applause? Well done. Because some people are coming from the right one. So, 7 excuses why your book is not written. Excuse number 1 is time. Not enough time. But here's the thing, ladies and gentlemen. Do you have time to go to Jamaica? He's saying no. Stop causing trouble here. Do you have time to go to Barbados?
Yes.
Do you have time to buy your BMW? Do you have time to buy your Audi? You know? So it depends how you compartmentalize the time. Yeah? That's the thing here. So if you want something, what do you have to do? You have to just write it. You need to tell your story and...
Write your book. Come help me
let's
out
try
next time
that
though.
again. Tell your story.
Write your book.
I said tell your story.
Write your book.
I said tell your story.
Write your book.
All right. Well, now I feel weird, Carl.
The coordinator was on.
Well, now I feel weird, Carl. So, no, because this is about participation. It's not about me just talking at you. And big up, we've got author McConan Sankofa in the building. He's launched today. He's launched today, so yeah. All right, so another excuse is my funds are low. Is that a problem for writers?
Yes.
Yes? Hands up if you think yes. Okay, hands up if you think no. All right, I'm going to tell you a secret. The answer is no. And here's the secret. Because it is free to write.
Oh, not to write. Yeah, to write. Yeah.
It is free to write. Pen, paper. And if you haven't got a pen, use a pencil. Use a pencil. Yeah?
People use computer.
Well, see, that's the thing. People block, they block. So I don't want to hear nothing about, oh, I can't afford to write. No, well, that's not what we're saying here. If there's a story deep inside, pen, paper, write. Number 3, what does number 3 say?
I'm lacking in motivation.
All right. Now that happens to a lot of us. It's hard. It's hard getting up out of bed and going on with life, and you've got the dinner to cook and the chicken to season and the washing and the ironing and everything else. It's a challenge, let's face it, we're all busy. But here's the thing, you could have been anywhere else, but you chose to be here. Yeah? In this moment, in this experience. And that's why I said when Jean said, oh, you know, you sure you want to do it? You don't want to do it? Yes, I want to do it.
Yeah.
This is my purpose. Yeah. This is my calling. This is what I was born to do. Just write it.
Yeah.
Feel me?
Yes.
All right. So this is what it's all about, an exchange of energy. You know, I can hopefully inspire you. What you do after that is up to you. But then I know that I've done my job. I'm a procrastinator. Big one. Big one. You know, some people, it's sunny, they want to go park. Who wants to sit in the building? But you know what? Knowledge is power. We've got to free our minds. We've got to change how we think. It doesn't have to take a long time to write your book. It's only if you tell yourself it's going to take a long time. And in the workbook, there's a 24-hour formula in there that actually shows you how to do it in not 24 hours a day, but 24 hours. It gives you a formula, a 10,000 word book, 10 chapters, 100 pages. That is the rule of thumb. Now, I'm sure most of us, we've all gone to school and done our essays and dissertations and so on and so forth. So it's doable. It doesn't have to be a massive, thick book. You know, 100 pages will suit fine. Agreed? Yeah? All right, so we need to tell our stories and... That's better. Frequent feelings of depression. Now, this week was Mental Health Week, wasn't it? All right, so depression is something that impacts the community a lot. And I think that this should not be a reason as to why you do not write your book. And I feel really, really, really strong about that. I think frequent feelings of depression will halt and stop you, yes. I've had bouts of depression where I felt a little bit down, yes. But you know what? I'm an overcomer. Do you know what? I've got melanin in my skin. I am here for a reason. Born for a purpose. And I've just got to move forward and move up and out of that depressive funk. And we are what we think. You know, some people can think themselves into a state of depression, right?
Yeah.
There you go. So we need to think ourselves out of that and free ourselves and begin to tell our narratives and begin to tell our stories. So, number 6, suffering from self-doubt. That's understandable. You might say to yourself, well, you know, I never really passed English in my GCSEs or, what was it, Ras? Was it GCEs?
GCE and CSE.
And CSEs, yeah? So if we want to go back that far, but that's okay to feel a little bit uncomfortable, to lose your self-esteem a little bit. It's normal, we're human. But that should not be the excuse as to why your book is not written. If you have a feeling, if you're intrigued, if you have an unction that you have a story to tell, then you need to reach out, talk to me, come to one of our workshops where we'll be doing titles and subtitles, which I'll talk about in a minute, and just start the writing process. It's simple. That's what you need to be doing. All right, so they're really paying attention, aren't they, brother? I told you, this is why we do this. So the last one is laptops and my PC doesn't work. I'm going to tell you a little story. I had a client fly in from the States to come and see me. And you know, time is the most precious commodity that we have. We can't get back today. No amount of money is going to buy this experience back for us. You know, so that's what they say, when your health is gone, it's gone. Yeah? So while we're here, this is the most precious commodity that we have. Would you agree? Time. Yeah? So she came over from the United States, met up at a nice hotel down in Kensington, sat down, exchanged pleasantries, had a meal, had something to eat, and she had an idea for a book. Okay, that's good, I'm happy. Let's talk, let's framework, let's put it all together. So I started giving her a little bit of homework, so, you know, my clients know that when they're working with me, they've got to do their homework, unless there's a major problem and something, family issues have happened, then you can pause. But they have to do their homework. And then these excuses started to come out, like, you know, this was happening, that was happening, my data ran out on my phone, I'm here, I'm there, I'm everywhere, my laptop's broken, the screen's broken. And to be perfectly honest, I'm a busy woman, right? And I said to myself, okay, you've got WhatsApp, you can still write your homework. If somebody really wants to do something, if I was going to give her £1 million, I'm sure she would have found some way, internet cafe or wherever, innit? Yeah. Around her son's house or daughter's house or whoever's house, grandma's house. And she would be collecting her £1 million. So I just don't buy into the excuses. You're either committed or you're not committed. And so I just said to her, do you know what? I can't work with you. And it's nice you're offering my money and all the rest of it, but if you're not teachable, if you're not listening, and if you can't follow simple instructions for the homework, I'm not doing my job properly. So I can't get into that with you. And then I departed. So here's the thing. Laptop and PC problems does not work. Okay, that is an issue. But again, paper and pen. There shouldn't be any excuse as to why you're not working on telling your story, or at least venturing into that. So how that story finished is once I sort of stepped back, I guess it gave her a chance to reflect. And she says, oh, you know, I really would love the opportunity to work with you. And she's got a really good idea, really good concepts. So I said, send me your homework and we go from here. Because I'm serious about people that are committed and want to tell their story. All right, so let's go to the next slide. There should be about 8 slides there. Maybe press the undo button, or just come out of it and start again. So I've got a little bit of a technical hitch, guys, sorry. Alright, so I'm just going to continue. So I think the next slide is the book. The book, maybe it's come out there. Alright, so this is where it gets technical, isn't it? You can't trust technology. But am I going to stop speaking?
No.
No! I'm not going to stop speaking. So while they're sorting it out, I think the next slide would have been this. It would have been about the book. So this is an A4 workbook. It's called Just Write It. Oh, I think we've got it now. Okay, no, it's not. Here we go. All right, so ring, 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 ring. Do you have a desire to write a book? Ring, 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 ring. Anyone can pick up the phone? Ring, 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 ring. Can we pick up our phones? Come on now, people. Ring, 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 ring. Thank you. One person, 2, 3. Hello, hello. My dreams are calling. They're calling. They're calling me. They're calling you. We might not have this moment again. I might not ever see you again. So it's really vital and important that if this is something that you're interested in venturing, that you do so. And you do so with great urgency. Because neither of us know the time, the hour, the minute, the day. We just don't know. We live in such a topsy-turvy world, right? So every day is called the present because it's a gift. Thank you. Okay, so here we go. So writing a book is serious business. Can someone tell me why writing a book is serious business? Anyone? Anybody? Second?
Control what the person's reading, the information they're taking.
We can control what the person's reading,
You're
the
in
reader?
control when you write a book. So you're in control when you write a book of what information the person takes in.
Okay, so you're saying to me that you're in control when you're writing the book, and that's why it's a serious business.
Yeah, but if you
And
write,
what they take in.
yeah, so if you write in there for kids something like, oh,
So like influences?
you can say like influence, yeah.
Okay.
So if you write that type of information in a book and a child reads it, and if it's something stupid like go and stab a person, the child reads that, they take it in, and that's a serious business you've got right there.
Yeah.
Because you're influencing the little child.
Yeah, definitely. Excellent. I like that. I like that. Okay.
Saving someone's life.
Mm.
This is life changing when you read the book. So whatever energy you put into your book, that person receiving it, it can make or break them.
Okay. So saving someone's life, it can make or break them. It's an energy signature. And when, just give me 2 seconds, young man. And when I was in Luton yesterday, there was a gentleman, and I've forgotten his name, but he wrote a book about reversing diabetes. They said that he was diabetic and he just changed his diet and he is no longer diabetic. So that's kind of what you're saying, isn't it? Life-saving. Excellent, yeah.
I was just going to say, it's some of the most sacred things in life come in the form of a book.
Break that down a bit more, because you're a poet. I'm not going to let you just get away with just 2 words.
So, you know, like scripture, religious texts, life and philosophy, spiritual guidance, all comes in the form of books. So the sacred nature of them makes them like imperative, basically.
And also, you can catalogue your book in the British Library. So for generations to come, I think the new thing is now Ancestry. Have you heard of that? Yeah, so Ancestry, following your ancestors and DNA and stuff like that. So you can have that follow through long ago when you're gone, and people can look and say you were here and you wrote the book. Excellent. Okay, I'll take one more. Anyone? Anyone? Yeah?
I was going to say what contribution to history, what you just said.
No, you can tell me, brother. So history of our history, of anyone's history?
Well, yeah,
What?
obviously it depends what you're writing about, but indeed, as you just acknowledged, that it can be in the library, so that long
think that that's important because a lot of traditions from the African culture is dying out, isn't it? And our stories are not being told, and our recipes and our food are not being taken on to the next generation, especially, you know, let thy food be thy medicine. We would love to have more books on that. Excellent. This is really good content, guys. All right, so let's go down the list. It's hard to see. Can you read the back for me, please? Let's start with number 1.
So choose your book content.
Okay, so in this workbook, I've structured out everything that you need to know to start you on the process. Choose your book content. So from what I've heard from you today, we've heard about life stories, we've heard about history, but I haven't heard anything about the male experience. So let's go deeper into that. What kind of books could our brothers be writing? Yes.
For example, if a brother has been on drugs and then one day he decided, you know what, I'm not going to do that anymore. He can put his experience within there, and it's a journey, he's drug free, and there's going to be someone in the community. He might, you know, I might have bought the book and dropped it. When you realise, when I got home, I can't find the book. Somebody will pick up the book and think, oh, okay. It might be a blessing to that person, because that person could be on drugs, and they could read it, and that could change.
So recovery, isn't it? That's really, really good. So recovery from addiction. And it's not just drugs, it could be alcohol, couldn't it?
Food,
Gambling,
That's a
sex.
good one. Social media now.
Yeah, social media, pornography. There's all different types of addictions. That was really quite profound. So definitely we could get our brothers talking about those topics of how they broke free. Yes?
Interpersonal relationship. I had 5 wives and I divorced all of them. Complete failure. That is what.
Interpersonal relationships. Did you say you had 5 wives?
Yeah.
And you divorced them all?
Absolutely.
So not 5 wives at one time. This sounds like a good book, isn't it? So not 5 wives at one time. You've had an experience.
My life story, I would like to share with my brothers.
Wow. So when you, okay, now this is good. When you share this experience with your brothers, what is the message that you want them to have?
I want them to follow through my life experience. I want them to get their own message from it, get their own feeling from my mistakes or from my adventures.
So are you saying that you would want your brothers to still go on and be married, but learn from your mistakes? Is that what you're saying?
I'm not actually leaving any kind of objective for them to take from it. I just want them to follow through that life story.
See, this is really exciting because this is where we have to get really specific. Yeah? And what I mean by specific is in the book we actually talk about what is your primary and your secondary audience. So a lot of people just write to be cathartic, just to let out, you know, their pain or their feelings or emotions. And that's all well and good, but who is buying this book? Because when all your friends and family have bought your book, then what about the people after that? So you really have to think about it. So I think if that book was to be written to tell your life story, it's either going to be a cathartic experience. This terminology is actually called vanity publishing, where people just write their stories, publish it. They don't care whether they make a penny or not, but their story is out in print. So that's what that's called. Or you have an aim with it, where you tell your story and you're either going to say, you know what, never get married, my brothers. Or this is what I've learn from my lessons and do better. So you really got to be clear in that structure when you tell your story what your outcomes are going to be. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Good, good. Excellent. This is some real good content. Next.
Select a catchy title.
Okay, catchy title. So, can anybody here tell me what's the most popular title on Amazon? What are they called? Anybody have any ideas? What the most popular titles are on Amazon? You can take a guess.
Self-development.
Say again?
Self-development.
Self-development, good.
Dummy's Guide.
Dummy's Guide, good. Who's going to take this one? Okay, that's
Surviving depression.
Surviving Depression.
Romance?
Romance. It's interesting because when you said the Dummy's Guide, that's actually a brand. And when your books are a brand series, it means that you can trademark your books. So if anybody comes up with Dummy's Guide to fixing a car, they can get sued if it's not done by the original people. So that's actually something interesting for you to know. I'll take one more. Okay, no, I won't take So, a catchy title. So the most popular titles are how-to books, so how to fix your car, and number books, 10 ways to fix your car. So those are the two books that really, really do well, okay? And we're going to take a vote. So we want to know what is most popular on Amazon. Is it fiction or non-fiction? So I want everyone who thinks that it's non-fiction to stand. The most popular genre on Amazon, everyone that thinks that it's non-fiction, okay? And everyone that thinks it's fiction to put their hands up. Yeah, you can still stand, I'm just seeing, just look around the room. Okay, so, fiction wins. Well done, fiction people. Good, good. So, fiction, you're away. When you have a fiction book, you can do a lot of different things in terms of writing. Novels, short stories, and things of that nature. Next one.
Write a gradually subtitle.
Okay, so let me just explain. My main title is called Just Write It. And then underneath it, this is called a subtitle. So, Story to the Page Workbook. So that should tell you that some sort of story is going to be written on a page. That's hopefully the message I'm getting out. Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah? Okay. Now, just yesterday, I just decided to update this subtitle even more. And now it's going to be Tell Your Story.
Right.
Good. So that's really going to be a little even more specific to what I'm trying to do, right? Yeah? Tell your story, write your book. So people will have a really good insight into that. So number 4.
Create 10 chapter headings.
Okay. So again, we're going back to the rule of thumb of 10 chapter headings, 10,000 words, 100 pages. That's where we're starting from in order to write your book. If it's a poetry book, it can be a little bit more. But the chapter headings is ordering them, putting them in the right order and getting them correct. Next one.
Identify your target readership.
Right, so we mentioned earlier on about the target readership. So let's go back to the gentleman at the back, your book you were talking about, your experience. Who do we think is the primary target reader? Who's going to buy the book? Who's going to be first to buy the book, Ras? I'm picking on you today. Who's going to be the first to buy his book? Anyone can help Ras out?
I think women,
Women. Why?
because they want to know probably who not to marry.
That's deep.
I agree with you.
Any takers on that? Women? Will women buy the book?
Because they want to know.
You agree?
No.
Okay. Okay. Who? Women. Interesting. Okay. Any? The one disagree? Do you disagree?
Well, I think if it had a catchy subtitle, then men may want to know what it's like to have 5 wives or to be married to 5 wives. How did he cope? What did he do? How did he maintain with it all? So,
Interesting.
it's a book that's rather what's it?
I'm not touching it, but we're working with my sister to get a
Yeah,
title for
we're
it.
getting there, we're breaking it down. So here's the thing, this is really interesting. Yeah, go on, brother.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think if the title was How to Satisfy 5 Wives, I think men
How to satisfy 5 wives.
Wow.
You still got jokes in it tonight. Okay, well, here's the thing. I would say it would be men. And I would say that it would be men who have recently had heartbreaks and, you know, are out of a relationship, probably on their 3rd divorce. Yeah? And now they're just like, oh, what have I done wrong this time? And then they'll want to read your book. That's just me personally. And probably then I could say it's maybe the sisters that love the men that they're no longer with anymore. And then that would be their secondary audience. But it is really key to get into this technical side of things because yes, we can write a book for ourselves, but we have to also think about the reader because otherwise they're not going to buy it, right? Is Does that make sense? Yeah, any questions on that? Okay, next.
Design your book cover.
Alright, so we need a catchy book cover. We have our designers on board to help you with that. We also have our website developer now, which we've just taken on last month, who's going to help to do catchy websites for authors that we work with, or entrepreneurs, or business people, you know, within the community. But definitely having an eye-catchy book cover design. People buy with their eyes. So hopefully, if you've got a good cover, you can sell more books. And there's been some books with rubbish covers, and they've changed it, and they've got good covers, and then they've gone to bestseller. So who doesn't want to be a bestseller, earn extra money, get money paid into their account every month from Amazon, via Kindle, and via paperback sales? You don't have to do anything other than to put your head down and sleep in order to get this money. Yeah? Does that make sense? Okay, next one.
Write your back cover blurb.
Okay, great stuff. So here is your back cover blurb. Alright? This is what your readers or your prospects will actually read. They'll look at, and it will explain how or what is in this book. So it has to be really concise. Because this is a big book, I can sort of stretch it a little bit more, really. But normally we say 1 or 2 paragraphs, and on here I've got, you know, questions. I've asked them, do you want your book to be catalogued in the British Library? Are you overwhelmed at starting your manuscript? Are you unclear about the book writing strategy? Would you like to become an author this year? And have you dreamed about writing a book? Would you like to earn extra income? If you've answered yes to any of the above questions, this workbook is for you. So it's just really drawing them in. It's almost like a sales pitch, if you will, sales content, and getting them to say, okay, yeah, this is something I can relate to. Yes, I'll get a copy of this. And then you sign your book. Okay.
Create, down, and action plan.
Oh, I can make an error there. Write down an action plan. So we've got some planners in here: Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And if you plan to fail, you fail to plan. Okay? So you have to write down how much time you're going to do it. Is it going to be 3 times a week? Is it going to be an hour every day, half an hour every day? And you just stick to it and you write it. All you need is a what's the word that I'm looking for? Consistency. Yeah? Have I been turned up? Yay! Lovely. Give me some live by the big boss. So all the entrepreneurs outside want to know how to write a book. Yeah, good stuff. All right, so I'm going to take some questions shortly. What's the last one?
Overcome writer's block.
Okay, overcome writer's block. So, see, the thing about writer's block is that it can actually stop you in your tracks from writing your book. And it's a really tough thing to do, because how do you break through that? Oh, my ideas are rubbish. Oh no, I'm not going to write today. Oh, I don't feel like it. So if you don't feel like it, your book's never going to get done. You've got to do it even though you do not feel like it. You have to write your story, okay? Next slide. Ta-da! So, this is our Just Write It workshop, and it's free. And the reason why I've made it free is this, again, it has to be accessible to the community. And by the way, do you like this picture? This is my Oprah look. Yeah, am I looking like Oprah, yeah? So, how to write your book, create your book structure, organise your chapter headings, and write your stories. Thursday the 13th of June, 7 p.m. I need to see you there. It's free, it's in Lewisham at the Orchard Garden Centre. You can get your tickets on Eventbrite as well. And we'll be spending 2 hours on telling you and going through the workbooks and creating your structures, your headings, your subtitles, and your chapter headings as well. Next slide. Alright, so these are my contact details. So remember, my name is Winsome Duncan, I'm your book confidence coach. You can call me, text me. My email is press@peachespublications.co.uk, and my website www.peachespublications.co.uk. Now yesterday I was in Luton and I was also in an event up in Camberwell, and they really, you know, were interested in telling their own stories. So I've only got a few of these left, and they're £10. So if you'd like one, come and see me after the presentation, and I take cash or card, so there's no reason not to get one if you do want to get one, but I don't have many left, sorry. Right, so from this presentation, I hope you've had a better idea about what it is it's going to take to write your books. I'm going to take some question and answers for the next 5 minutes, and then I'm going to close. So, alright, so let's use this time to really get in there. So who would like to answer a question? On book writing, how to write your book, the subjects to write about?
Wow.
Hi, brother. I'm honoured. Should I go like this? Yeah?
I've got a question, though.
Okay, hit me. Lovely to see you.
Use the mic. Use the mic, bro.
Meaning, Mike. So, in terms of like getting a
Book of poetry. No, just so.
he's
He's a
writing
poet.
poetry
He's a
book, he
poet.
might have some questions. About
Okay.
But in terms of getting like a book deal, is that something? How many chapters do you have to be in the development stage to reach out to publishers to try and secure a book deal?
What's the genre of the book?
Well, mine is about personal development.
For who?
My target audience, I couldn't even break it down to you right now.
Well, see, this is the thing. What were we talking about earlier, family?
Was, yes.
We were talking about,
I think you missed that part.
yeah, we were talking about primary audience, and we were talking about secondary audience, and this is really quite key and integral to the process. And the reason why you need to know that is so you can pitch your book to them.
Yeah.
So the first thing, what's your name again, brother?
Kieran.
Kieran, of course it's
That's
Kieran.
right.
You just look different with the you know what I mean?
Yeah, bit of
Very,
colour.
very trendy. Alright, so the first thing you need to do is you need to buy a copy of the Writer's Handbook 2019. Alright? And this is for anyone that has aspirations of being published with a traditional publisher. And the reason why I say it like that is that you need to also know that if you're going to be selling books on average, unless you'll get J.K. Rowling, it's going to be 12 pence a copy. So your first book, you're not going to make money unless you're selling millions. I wouldn't even say thousands, selling millions. So you need to be prepared that it's your second book that you'll probably be able to negotiate a better rate. Isn't that right, Brother Russ, Wendy?
Right.
Yeah, and he's in the book industry as well. So the first thing you need to get is called the Writer's Handbook 2019. It's about £20. They're also available in the library. In this handbook, you have a list of all the publishing houses that are around the world. Not just here in the UK, but around the world. And also, you have a list of literary agents in this book, all right? Now, my advice to you, Kieran, is to get a literary agent to represent you, because you will be more likely to get your book into a traditional publishing house if you have an agent representing you, rather than the publishing house taking you on. And people like Slay in Your Lane, they've got a division for authors of colour, so you might want to go with them. And there was another one, do you write short stories?
Yeah.
So there's a competition that the Guardian newspaper's putting on for BAME writers. I hate that terminology, but for this sake, I'm going to use it. So BAME writers, people of colour, and it closes on the 7th of June, and it's short stories up till 6,000 words, okay? And I suggest you put yourself forward for that and try and see if you can get on the long list or the short list and see where you can go with your work. There's £1,000 prize money, so it's a really good incentive. And what else would I say? So synopsis, you'll need a synopsis, so that's about 1 or 2 paragraphs explaining what his book is about. And this is why you need to know your primary and your target audience. It isn't just about writing your book, it's about knowing how you're going to pitch it to them and if there is an audience there as well. My advice to you is that you write your book, you self-publish it, and you get them to come to you when you create a buzz and a hype. I think that would be the best way to go, but it's ultimately up to you. Does that answer your question?
Yeah.
Good. Okay, let's take another question.
Can I
good mic? Yeah?
So you feel within yourself that you want to write a book, you've got no idea where to start.
Okay.
And so you wouldn't know who your...
Hello? Dreams calling? Dreams calling, hello?
So you wouldn't know who your primary audience is, because you've got no idea how to write a book, but you want to write a book, you know you've got a story to tell. So how do you go about even starting?
So in the workbook, we've got something called genres, and we've got something called themes. So I'm just going to read out a few of them, and this is what we have to look at and see what one you would like to specifically write about, okay? So in the genre, and I'm randomly reading them out, I'm not going to read them all because there's quite a lot. You can do action and adventure, alternative history, anthology, biography, book reviews, dictionaries, a guide, maths, memoir, prayers, tech books, reviews, travel, self-help. We've heard self-development today, haven't we? Okay, political thrillers, romance or erotica romance. So that's just a few genres. Now, genres is not the same as a theme. Genre is a category in which the book sits in, and your theme is what the book is about. So hopefully you can get that clear distinction, because people get away with they get confused with them. So I've got 100 themes here as well. So your theme of your book could be circle of life, depression, and again, I'm not reading them all, you know, you can come and have a look after. Displacement, economics, empowerment, famine, fashion, knowledge versus ignorance, love, sacrifice, man against nature. We can have man against marriage, couldn't we? Couldn't we? Necessity of work, roles of women, self, inner self, tradition, vanity, vulnerability. So does that give you a bit of a better idea? Yeah? So you have a little look through that, and that should help you decide. I just want to, before I take another question, I just want to quickly come back to this young man before we wrap up. Did you say he's got a book of poems?
I'm developing a book of poetry, yeah.
Alright, tell us about that, please.
So I'm kind of in the creative stage at the moment. There's no like business plans, if you get what I mean. I'm just literally developing one as I go along. But it's going to be called Out of Darkness. And it's not a self-help book, but there's self-help elements to it. Yeah. But I wanted to ask, what do you think is more effective? Do you think it's books or audio books?
Oh gosh. Alright, so let's just, I'm going to park that question for a second, I'm going to come back to it. So first of all, I just want to encourage you, yeah? I think male expression is beautiful. I think telling your story out of darkness is a story that needs to be heard, right? It needs to be represented. So definitely go for it, definitely keep writing. Think about people like Benjamin Zephaniah, he's done really well with his poetry, okay? Now, I would say paperback books. I think traditionally people like to hold books. You can have a couple of snippets on audio for your YouTube and maybe do some videos with it, but I wouldn't recommend an audio book unless you thoroughly research it, because it's up for cloning, duplication. That's always going to be a challenge. Do you see what I'm saying? People copying your work and making it for free. It's a lot easier when it's an MP3 or a CD. But I definitely think that if you are going to take this seriously, it's a good second stream of income, paperback, or it could be the third. So paperback, Kindle downloads and audio, definitely, and then MP3 is actually your fourth stream of income. But you'd have to be out there performing your work, yeah, to the audience, yeah. And when do you want to get your book done?
So the plan is to finish it this year and then launch it next year.
Okay. So then definitely come back to the workshop. Do you mind putting the workshop slide on? Is that alright? So just to remind people. But really good. We need more male voices in our communities. Alright, I'm going to take 2 more questions and then we'll wrap up, because I think Makonnen Sankofa is coming on the stage. So come on now. It's free. It's one more. No, forward. Other way, sorry. Yeah. 2 more. That's it.
This one.
Again. That's it, yeah. So remember, this is a workshop, it's free, you can come and join us, and we'd love to see you. We're going to work through the workbook. All right, 2 more questions and then we're going to bring this presentation to a close. Access the information, my brothers and sisters, you know, because when I do these services, my packages start from £250. So let's get the information, it's free, I'm here, I'm available. Any more questions? Yeah.
How would you go about researching the area that you want to write about? Supposing it was health, for example.
Can you get a bit more specific?
Organic,
Health, what type of health?
Holistic.
Okay, good. So holistic health is quite popular. We're hearing about the vegan culture. And again, I see, you know, some couples that are in the rooms always suggest couple books. That's really quite a cute thing to do together. So researching health, there's 2 ways of doing it. You can go online and get someone to research it for you. So Upworks is a website that you can use, because that's the other thing is you don't have to do all of the book yourself. You can get help. Or you're going to have to just do your own research. So are you talking about holistic health using certain herbs?
Yeah.
Or are you talking about holistic health using fruit, using green foods, using juices, using all of these different things? And this is actually quite important, ladies and gentlemen. Can I just see the hands of any entrepreneurs in here? Give me a little wave. Entrepreneurs, businessmen, women. Just 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, I'm sure you're a little entrepreneur. Come on, put your hand up, brother. Own it, own it. Come on, good. So here's the thing, and this is quite important that I want you to think about. If you do go down this road and you're an entrepreneur and you're a business person, think about your upsell. What is your upsell? So what I mean by that is, this is a £10 product. This is a tangible product. You can hold it, you can feel it. So at £10, this is a low price product. Is that fair enough to say?
Yes.
Everybody should hopefully have £10, and if they're not, I understand the struggle. So this is your low price product. So what you want to do with your services and your other products is do your upsells to your medium to high products. So don't think you're just writing a book and that's it. No. So if we take me for an example, I've got my book, which makes it accessible to most people. And then people that want to dip their toes in a bit further, I've got my one-to-one book confidence coaching sessions where we do telephone calls. And then I've got my packages that publish the books, which are my high end. So I go from low, medium to high. So really think, when you're writing your book, what is your low, medium and high price points? I think that's really going to be key. Okay? Does that make sense? Have I made that yet? Okay, good. All right, I'll take one final question. One final question.
Oh.
Yeah? Okay. Into the mic.
So, what decides the price of a book? From like £10 or one that's 150? What dictates?
So you're talking about the retail recommended price? Yeah? Okay. All right, so I'll just explain something. So you've got the unit price of the book, which is how much it is to make it, and then you've got the retail recommended price, which is how much it sells at. So you can make a book for £250 and it sells at £10. What's the profit margin? £7.50, because you always got to minus what the book and the postage and package, you've always got to minus it. So it really depends. If you're David Beckham, then you could probably get away with a nice little $14.99 on a hardback cover, and the world and their mum will come and buy the book that are fans of him. So that's in a little bit of a higher price range. But then you've got academic books, and with academic books, they're always a lot more expensive because they're thick, there's academia. And then you've just got celebrity authors or authors that are really good in their fields, and they'll just charge because they just believe that they're worth it. So it can be anything from £30 to £40 for the book, but you know, it's just 100 pages, 50 pages, but the knowledge inside of it is worth thousands. So it's like, how long is a piece of string? But if you're looking at averages, the averages that I would say for books is anywhere, depending on the size and so on and so forth, is anywhere from say £7.99 to £14.99. That's just an average that I'm giving you. And we're talking about book pricing for an A5 book, which is half the size of this, so you just cut it in half. Say 100 pages, a approximately, it costs £2.95 per unit to purchase. And then the more books that you buy, the cheaper it becomes. Yeah? Alright, so as I said, my name is Winsome Duncan. I am your book competence coach. Do come and see me if you'd like to get one of these. And I always like to just leave the vibe with a little sing-song. So if you know this one, join in. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Ooh, 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 ooh. Mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it and everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Oh, everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Baby, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Thank you.
Thank you, Winsome Duncan. Can we rise up, Winsome Duncan, one more time? So I wanted to take this opportunity to emphasize the importance of positive attitude. And I feel like anyone that goes to this is going to be very uplifted and benefited from the information that you're going to get. But what I'm saying is that basically there was nothing but blue chairs and black when Winsome arrived. And Winsome was like, boy, you know what, Chuck, if there's one person, I'll give you my all. If there's 1,000, I'll still give you my all. Every individual is important. And what happens, people do gather around anyway and get the energy. So maybe take that lesson and take it forward, that we must, you know, with what Chief Hamlet was saying earlier with polarization, we carry ourselves in a certain kind of way, have that positive energy throughout every hour of every day. So yeah, I don't know what's happening next. I don't know what's going on. I've got a question though, really and truly. I have my own theory, but what is this whole thing about the front being left open? It's a question.
Philosophy, eh?
Yeah. I don't know what's going on.
People don't like to get picked on.
They don't like to get picked on. Is that
Because
what it
usually on
is?
the front seat you get picked on. But I like to sit on the front seat.
Auntie Jean likes it. I like to sit in the front. Because you get the energy, the full energy. I'm just wondering, we've got a powerful brother in the back, Kieran. He's going to be talking. I'm sure you want some people fill in the front. No, we'll give you the shy British thing. So I thought we were African. But anyway, I don't know what's going on next, but we'll figure it out. Maybe take a 2-minute break or something like that.
Wake up your